welcome to Mastermind with me, Clive Myrie. In the spotlight tonight are Pete Rosser, a musician whose specialist subject is the German philosopher Karl Marx. Katie Chambers, an HR manager. Her subject is the BAFTA-winning BBC sitcom The Royal Family. Sadie D'Souza, a pharmacy assistant who will be answering questions on flags of British counties. And Owen O'Connell, a data scientist. His specialist subject, the jazz musician Django Reinhardt. Time is twisted here in the Mastermind studio. Outside in the light, 2 minutes is a span of time in which you can boil an egg. In here, 2 minutes is an eternity. If you're not on top of your brief, if you haven't put in the hard yards on the training ground, batting away the dummy questions time and time again. I'm sure all our contenders have done the work, put in the hours, and are ready to cook to perfection. 2 minutes on a specialist subject and 2.5 minutes on general knowledge are coming up. So, can I ask our first contender to join us, please? Your name?
Pete Rosser.
Your occupation?
Musician.
And your specialist subject?
Karl Marx.
Yes, the German social philosopher and economist who became known as the father of modern communism. In 2 minutes, let's go. When Karl Marx was born in 1818, his parents gave him what middle name?
Heinrich.
Yes, Marx studied at the universities of Bonn and Berlin, but submitted his doctoral thesis for recognition at which other city's university, which was known for awarding degrees more quickly?
Jena.
Yes. In 1843, Marx married his longtime fiancée, Jenny von Westphalen, in which German spa town around 20 miles southwest of Mainz?
Kreuznach.
Yes, Marx moved to Paris, where he met some of the leading thinkers of the time, including which libertarian socialist, whom he later ridiculed in the short work, The Poverty of Philosophy?
Proudhon.
Yes, in 1845, Marx worked with his friend Friedrich Engels on the book The Holy Family, which had the alternative title, Critique of Critical Criticism against whom?
Bruno Bauer.
Yes, although the Communist Manifesto usually cites both Marx and Engels as authors, the main text was actually written by Marx alone in 1848, while he was living in which European city?
Brussels.
Yes, in 1849, after he was exiled from Germany, Marx returned to Paris and rented an apartment using what fake surname, fearing that he'd be expelled from the city if discovered?
Williams.
No, Rambo. In 1849, faced with the prospect of banishment to Brittany on his return to France for being a foreign revolutionist, Marx decided to leave the country and arrived in the UK aboard which ship?
Titanic.
No, City of Boulogne. In 1867, after 20 years of work, Marx delivered the manuscript of the first volume of his major work, Das Kapital, to which publisher in Hamburg for release later that year?
Meissner.
Yes, Marx was financially supported for many years by Engels, who sold his share of his family's business around 1869 and allocated Marx an allowance of how many pounds per year?
350.
Yes, in 1882, a year before his death, Marx shaved off his characteristic shaggy beard during a convalescence trip to which modern-day country?
Algeria.
Yes, Marx was buried alongside his wife in London's Highgate Cemetery, together with a photograph of which other member of his family?
His father.
It was his father. So, Pete, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 10 points. And our next contender, please. Your name?
Katie Chambers.
Your occupation?
HR manager.
And your specialist subject?
The Royal Family.
The BBC sitcom in 2 minutes. Let's go. In the first episode of the series, the penny-pinching Jim is furious about his exorbitant phone bill and in particular about calls made by a person unknown to which Scottish city?
Aberdeen.
Yes, which writer joined the creators Caroline Aherne and Craig Cash for the second series, replacing Henry Normal, who worked with them on series 1?
Carmel Morgan.
Yes, Jim is unimpressed when Barbara insists they switch over the television to watch what series, questioning the entertainment value of watching a Cockney knocking nails into plywood?
Changing rooms.
Yes, when Nana has an operation for a cataract on her eye, she finds it hilarious that the specialist who performed the procedure had what name? Also that of a famous actor?
Michael Crawford.
Yes, in one of the Christmas specials, Nana reveals that she once won £13 from Jim playing what card game with the help of two kings she didn't know were in a handbag?
Rummy.
Yes, which director worked on 7 episodes of the show, including Bills, 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 Wedding Day and The Queen of Sheba?
Steve Bendelak.
No, Mark Mylod. Dave is so proud of his little boy, baby David, that he gives photographs to various businessmen around the area, including Farouk, who runs which Asian restaurant?
Punjab Palace.
Yes, when her friend Elsie dies, Nana is very keen to tell everyone that Elsie's daughter Marion is very high up in what utility company?
Northwest Water.
Yes, after a karaoke evening at the Feathers pub, Dave tells Barbara that Denise performed what song, her usual, 3 times?
Michiko Latino.
Yes, in the new sofa, when Dave's dad is asked whether he's ever been to prison, he replies that he hasn't, but claims that he can empathise after having once been locked in the cinema when he fell asleep watching what film?
Brokeback Mountain.
Yes, after Nana's death in the poignant episode, The Queen of Sheba, what does Barbara say were the last 2 words she spoke?
Trevor McDonald.
Yes, what's the 2-word name of the clairvoyant who thrills the royal's neighbour, Cheryl, by telling her that she'll find true love?
Gemini Astrid.
Yes, Dave chooses Gary from the butcher shop to be his best man, even though he smells of mince. And according to their neighbour, Cheryl, I've said it's all finished. According to their neighbour, Cheryl, he changes his clothes less often than which fictional character?
Noddy.
Yes, it is Noddy. So, Katie, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 12 points. And our next contender, please. Your name.
Sadie D'Souza,
Your occupation.
pharmacy assistant.
And your specialist subject.
The flags of British counties.
Yes, the official flags of the historic counties of England, Scotland and Wales. In 2 minutes. Let's go. The flags of Cornwall, Devon and Dorset all include what feature representing St. Piran, St. Petroc and St. Wita, respectively?
Crosses.
Yes. The flag of Flintshire, whose design dates back to the 11th century, depicts what member of the crow family, even though the bird is no longer native to the region?
Chuffs.
Yes. Which of the traditional English counties became the last to adopt an official flag, having done so in July 2021 following a request from its various members of Parliament?
Leicestershire.
Yes, the green upper half of the flag of Cumberland depicts the flowers of what plant, sometimes known as bogstar?
The grass of Parnassus.
Yes. What's the name of the vexillologist who, together with his father David, led the campaign for official recognition of the flag of Sussex and in 2015 won the competition to design the flag of Cambridgeshire?
Brady Ells.
Yes, the gold and blue check design of the flag of Surrey derives from the coat of arms of which family, who held the earldom of Surrey from 1088?
The De Warrens.
Yes, the voided cross on the flag of East Lothian has been described as recalling which village in that county where, according to legend, the flag of Scotland was first adopted.
Athelstonford.
Yes, the flag of which traditional Welsh county comprises 3 gold lions and a gold chevron on a red background, derived from arms attributed by medieval heralds to an earlier local ruler, Hoover ap Canthelw.
Anglesey.
Yes. What name is traditionally given to the 3 leopard heads which feature on the flag of Shropshire and is also that of a village just across the county border in Staffordshire?
Loggerheads.
Yes, the flags of Essex and Middlesex are sometimes described as featuring 3 scimitars, but in fact depict what other similar heraldic weapon which has a semicircular notch in its back?
Saxes.
Yes. Which county's flag depicts a golden rose in the centre of a green cross on a blue background?
Derbyshire.
Yes, in heraldry, stripes described as barry, wavy, azure and argent, as featured on the flags of Cumberland and Hertfordshire, represent water, but on the flag of Bedfordshire, they refer specifically to what river?
The Great Ouse.
Yes, the flag of Glamorgan. I've started, so I'll finish. The flag of Glamorgan, which depicts 3 white chevrons on a red background, is based on the coat of arms of Iestyn, the last native ruler of which ancient kingdom?
Morganwg.
It is Morganwg. Sadie, no passes. You got them all right. 13 points.
Thank you.
And our final contender, please. Your name,
Owen O'Connell,
your occupation,
data scientist.
and your specialist subject.
Django Reinhardt.
The Romany musician born in Belgium in 1910 who revolutionized the sound of the jazz guitar. In 2 minutes, Let's go. Although he was known from infancy by his Romany name Django, Reinhardt was legally given what first name?
Jean.
Yes, Reinhardt was already proficient on the banjo by the time he took up the guitar, but what was the first instrument he'd learned to play with the help of his uncle Guy Ligou and other family members?
Violin.
Yes, Reinhardt gave his first performances in what Parisian dance hall near the Porte de Clignancourt, where he'd earlier hidden himself to hear his family members play?
Chez Clodoche.
Yes, in 1928, Reinhardt was badly burned and lost the use of 2 fingers on his left hand in a fire inside his Romany caravan, which saw him taken initially to which Paris hospital?
Hôpital Lariboisière.
Yes. What was the name of the Paris hotel where Reinhardt first played with the violinist Stéphane Grappelli when a broken violin string led to an impromptu jam session between the 2 musicians?
Marriage.
Yes. What was the original title of the Gypsy Waltz written by Reinhardt, first recorded in 1939 and later known as Chez Jacquet à la Petite Chaumière?
Pass.
In 1934, the newly formed Quintet de Hot Club de France, featuring Reinhardt and Grappelli, recorded material for which record label, although the company declined to release the tracks?
Ultraphone.
No, Odeon. Which American saxophonist did Reinhardt accompany at the Salle Pleyel Hall in 1935 in a concert that marked the launch of the new magazine Jazz Hot?
Dizzy Gillespie.
No, Coleman Hawkins. When the Swing record label was set up in 1937, it chose 2 recordings by Coleman Hawkins and a band including Reinhardt for its first release, Honeysuckle Rose. And which other track?
Crazy Rhythm.
Yes. What was the title of the symphony written by Reinhardt in the 1940s but never performed as originally intended because the conductor considered it unplayable?
Manoir de mes rêves.
Yes, in 1943, Reinhardt married his longtime partner Sophie Ziegler, commonly known as Nagin, in a ceremony held in which town in the Loire-et-Cher département of France?
Nice.
No, Salbris. So, Owen, just the one pass. The original title of the Gypsy Waltz, written by Reinhardt, and later known as Chez Jacquet à la Petite Chaumière. Gin Gin.
Gin.
Yes, you knew it. And at the end of that round, Owen, you've got 7 points.
Thank you.
And at the end of the specialist subjects round, let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 7 points, it's Owen. In 3rd place with 10 points, it's Pete. In 2nd place with 12 points, it's Katie. And in 1st place with 13 points, it's Sadie. So now, the general knowledge round. And if there's a tie at the end, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, it's a tie break. So let's ask Owen to join us again, please. So, Owen, you start with 7 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. What's the 3-letter word for dried grass or other herbaceous plants used in agriculture as feed for livestock?
Hey.
Yes, the 3rd highest mountain in England, Helvellyn, is in which national park?
Snowdon.
No, Lake District. The songs Wouldn't It Be Lovely and The Rain in Spain are featured in which Lerner and Loewe musical, first staged in 1956?
Pass.
What name from the Greek for curdling or coagulation is given to the formation of a clot that obstructs the flow of blood through an artery or a vein?
Aneurysm.
No, thrombosis. Which city is the capital of the Spanish region of Catalonia?
Barcelona.
Yes, the television fantasy series first shown in 2022, based on the works of J.R.R. Tolkien, but set thousands of years before the events of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings films, is subtitled The Rings of what?
Dragons.
No, power. What vegetable is the principal ingredient of the soup crème du Barry?
Potatoes.
No, cauliflower. In 2015, The Magic Whip was the 6th UK #1 album for which Britpop group, whose previous chart-topping albums include The Great Escape, 20 years earlier?
Blur.
Yes. Which radioactive metallic element has the chemical symbol Pu?
Polonium.
No, plutonium, who won the first ever Academy Award for Best Actress in 1929 for her roles in the films Seventh Heaven, Street Angel, and Sunrise?
Doris Day.
No, Janet Gaynor. The German word ja, meaning yes, begins with which letter of the alphabet?
J.
Yes. What surname, the Italian word for bird, was adopted by the Florentine artist Paolo di Dono, whose mid-15th century painting St. George and the Dragon is in the collection of the National Gallery in London?
Pass.
In May 2023, which football club won the English Premier League title for the third consecutive season?
Man City.
Yes, the English title of what best-selling 1987 novel by the Japanese author Haruki Murakami is also the title of a song by the Beatles.
Norwegian Wood.
Yes, what metric unit of volume is equal to 1,000 cubic centimeters?
Liter.
Yes, the newspaper photographer Jimmy Olsen is the best friend of which DC Comics hero?
Batman.
No, Superman. What term for a cluster of small iron or lead balls fired from a cannon is partly derived from the name of a soft fruit?
Grapefruit.
No, grape shot. Valles Marineris. I've started, so I'll finish. Valles Marineris is a vast canyon system that extends for 2,500 miles along the equator of which planet in our solar system?
Mars.
It is Mars. Oh, and you had two passes. The surname, the Italian word for bird, adopted by the Florentine artist Paolo di Dono, uccello. The songs Wouldn't It Be Lovely and The Rain in Spain featured in My Fair Lady. And at the end of that round, Owen, you've got 15 points.
Thank you.
Next up, let's have Pete again. So, Pete, you start with 10 points. The score to beat as it stands is 15 points, and you've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. What word follows carriage, grandfather, and cuckoo in the names of three types of a common household item?
Clock.
Yes. What's the French name of the alpine mountain known in Italian as Monte Bianco?
Mont Blanc.
Yes, the British comedy trio known as the Goodies consisted of Tim Brooke-Taylor, Graham Garden, and which other comedian?
Bill Oddie.
Yes, according to the short poem Reflections on Icebreaking by the American humorist Ogden Nash, candy is dandy, but liquor is what?
Brandy.
No, quicker. A standard backgammon board is marked with how many elongated triangles known as points on which the pieces can be placed?
24.
Yes. What 1990 film stars Johnny Depp as the title character, an incompletely constructed artificial human with blades instead of fingers?
Edward Scissorhands.
Yes. What pre-decimal British coin was worth 2 shillings and 6pence?
Florin.
No, half a crown. Too Much, Too Young and Ghost Town were UK #1 singles in the early 1980s for which ska band?
Specials.
Yes. Which former Deputy Secretary of State did Joe Biden appoint as his Secretary of State when he took office as president in January 2021?
Blinken.
Yes. Which American artist, whose works include the 1893 painting The Child's Bath, was described as one of the 3 grandes dames of Impressionism alongside Berta Morisot and Marie Bracquemond?
Carrington.
No, Mary Cassatt, Victoria, Mirabelle and Santa Rosa are varieties of what stone fruit?
Plum.
Yes. In 2022, which country won both the men's and women's Rugby League World Cups?
Australia.
Yes. Which composer's Symphony No. 8 in E-flat major is sometimes called the Symphony of 1,000 because of the large number of musicians required to perform
Beethoven?
it? No, Mahler. Which satirical magazine publishes obituaries in the form of poetry by the fictitious E.J. Thrib with the opening line? So, farewell then.
Private Eye.
Yes, a Kingdom Hall is a meeting place for members of what religious movement?
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yes, what name, meaning small cloak, is given to a light scarf, often made of black lace, that's worn over their head and shoulders in Spain and Latin America?
Tool.
No, mantilla, the drug cocodamol. Sometimes used as an alternative to aspirin, is a combination of paracetamol and which other painkiller?
Codeine.
Yes, Sir Kenneth Macmillan was a leading choreographer of what form of dance?
Ballet.
Yes, the name of what type of circular crumbly biscuit, sometimes known as sweetmeal, suggests that it will settle the stomach.
Rusk.
No, digestive biscuit. What's the usual single-word name for the distinctive fish-eating bird of prey, which is the sole living member of the genus... I've started, so I'll finish. Sole living member of the genus Pandion, and whose species name, Haliaetus, derives from the Greek for sea eagle.
Albatross.
No, osprey. So, Pete, no passes at the end of that round. 23 points. Next up, it's Katie. Katie, you start with 12 points. The score to beat as it stands, 23 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. In a well-known expression that refers to a small but irritating flaw that spoils the success of something, what insect is in the ointment?
Fly.
Yes, the name Chuck, used primarily in North America, is an informal version of what male forename?
Charles.
Yes, which Jamaican reggae singer, together with his backing band, had UK hit singles entitled Could You Be Loved, Buffalo Soldier, and Iron Lion Zion?
Bob Marley.
Yes, the service stations Beaconsfield, Cherwell Valley and Warwick are on which English motorway?
M6.
No, M40. What word for a fighter in ancient Rome who performed in an arena for the entertainment of spectators is the title of an Oscar-winning 2000 film about one such person?
Gladiator.
Yes, in the name of the price index known as the CPI, which is used to measure inflation, the letter C stands for what word?
Consumer.
Yes, what's the name of the Montserrat-born artist who won the 2022 Turner Prize?
Damien Hirst.
No, Veronica Ryan. In the novel The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas, the title characters are named Athos, Porthos, and what?
D'Artagnan.
No, Aramis. What was the name of the former Wimbledon tennis champion who founded his own clothing brand, launching a polo shirt with a laurel wreath logo in 1952?
Fred Perry.
Yes, what French term used in English means nickname and is believed to derive from a 17th century word for a gentle tap under the chin?
Nom de plume.
No, sobriquet. In the Gregorian calendar, the 100th day of the year falls in which month?
April.
Yes, Michael Keaton won a Golden Globe and an Emmy in 2022 for his performance as Dr. Samuel Phoenix in what television miniseries about the opioid crisis in the United States?
Sicko.
No, Dope Sick. Which country, the smallest in mainland Africa, comprises a narrow strip of land that follows the course of a river of the same name?
Algeria.
No, Gambia. What's the term for the member of a rowing crew who is responsible for steering the boat and issuing instructions to the rowers?
Cox.
Yes, in 2011, the London venue known as the Comedy Theatre was renamed in honour of which Nobel Prize-winning British playwright?
Noel Coward.
No, Harold Pinter. In maths, what is the value of 3 factorial?
6.
Yes, because of the brutality of his reign in the 16th century, the first Tsar of Russia, Ivan IV, is better known by what byname?
Ivan the Terrible.
Yes. So, Katie, no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 22 points. And finally, let's have Sadie again, please. So, Sadie, you start with 13 points. The score to beat to get through to the semi-finals is Pete's 23 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. An even number is defined as any whole number that can be divided exactly by what other number?
2.
Yes, what satirical comedy panel show, which ran from 2005 to 2022, was hosted by Dara O'Brien and featured Hugh Dennis as a regular team captain?
Have I got news for you?
No, Mock the Week, the name of which river in Asia is derived from the Sanskrit word for river and is also the origin of the English name of the country of India.
Indus.
Yes, which American golfer, nicknamed Lefty because of his left-handed play, won his first major title at the US Masters in 2004?
Bubba Watson.
No, Phil Mickelson. What name is given to the part of the Earth's stratosphere that protects living organisms by absorbing most of the sun's ultraviolet radiation?
The ozone layer.
Yes, in June 2023, which American rock group topped the UK albums chart for the 6th time with But Here We Are?
AC/DC.
No, Foo Fighters. What word for a refusal to take part in an event as a form of protest comes from the name of a 19th century land agent in Ireland?
Boycotts.
Yes, the 2002 Louis Ghost chair, inspired by furniture from the reign of Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, is made from transparent plastic and was created by which French designer?
Titian.
No, Philippe Stark. The character Jason Voorhees, who often appears wearing an ice hockey mask, is the main antagonist in which American horror film series?
Friday the 13th.
Yes, which British journalist, broadcaster and military historian whose acclaimed early works include Bomber Command and Overlord wrote the 2022 book Abyss about the Cuban Missile Crisis?
Lee Adams.
No, Max Hastings, the Canadian town of Churchill on the shore of Hudson Bay in northern Manitoba, has become a tourist destination for viewing what large land mammals?
Polar bears.
Yes, what English term is used in music to describe three notes played in the same period of time as two notes of the same value?
Triplets.
Yes, what two-word description of a property for sale or rent is sometimes abbreviated as des-res?
Desirable residence.
Yes, Billy Crocker, Reno Sweeney and Hope Harcourt are three of the main characters in what stage musical set on board an ocean liner?
HMS Pinafore.
No, anything goes. What French term that literally means entertains the mouth is applied to small, savoury food items served in some restaurants as an appetizer, often without charge?
Amuse-bouche.
Yes, what name is given to the branch of science that studies... Studies or finish. What name is given to the branch of science that studies skin and its disorders?
Dermatology.
It is dermatology. And Sadie, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got a total of 23 points. So let's have a look at the final scores. In fourth place with 15 points, it's Owen. In third place with 22 points, it's Katie. And in joint first place with 23 points each, Pete and Sadie, and they both have no passes as well, so it's a tie-break. Now, here's how it'll work. I'll read the same 5 questions to each of the contenders, and the one with the highest score will win. And they're not against the clock this time. So let me ask Sadie to leave the studio now for obvious reasons, and Pete, if you would return to the black chair, please. So, Pete, I'm going to ask you 5 questions. I won't tell you whether or not you've got them right or wrong. Here we go. What stage play, based on a ghost story by Susan Hill, was first performed in December 1987 and was adapted into a film in 2012, starring Daniel Radcliffe?
Woman in White.
The name of which hormone-secreting gland in the neck is derived from a Greek word meaning shield-shaped?
Thyroid.
A type of whipped cream, particularly a sweetened version often flavoured with vanilla, is named after what French town around 30 miles north of Paris?
Armagnac.
Which American pianist and singer had UK hit singles in 1956 with the songs Blueberry Hill and I'm in Love Again?
Fats Domino.
Which Portuguese explorer led the first European expedition round the southern tip of Africa and later supervised the construction of vessels used by Vasco da Gama on his voyage to India?
Magellan.
So those are your 5 questions, Pete. You may return to your chair. And now let's have Sadie back into the studio to take the black chair again, please. So, Sadie, I'm going to ask you the same 5 questions, and this time the correct answers will appear on the screen for our viewers at home. Here we go. What stage play, based on a ghost story by Susan Hill, was first performed in December 1987 and was adapted into a film in 2012 starring Daniel Radcliffe?
The Woman in Black.
The name of which hormone-secreting gland in the neck is derived from a Greek word meaning shield-shaped?
Thyroid.
A type of whipped cream, particularly a sweetened version, often flavoured with vanilla, is named after what French town around 30 miles north of Paris?
Ream.
Which American pianist and singer had UK hit singles in 1956 with the songs Blueberry Hill and I'm in Love Again?
Fats Domino.
Which Portuguese explorer led the first European expedition round the southern tip of Africa and later supervised the construction of vessels used by Vasco da Gama on his voyage to India?
Ferdinand Magellan.
And those are your 5 questions, Sadie. Thank you. You can return to your seat. Well, at the end of that tie-break, we now have a winner. Pete has a total of 25 points, but tonight's winner with 26 points is Sadie, which means she goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to her. And those 5 answers were the woman in black, thyroid gland, Shanti, Fats Domino, and Bartholomew Diaz. Join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.